Now, UFC 295, right around the corner, goes down this Saturday, November 11th. And we need to get into the predictions for the big three. And the first one's an interesting one, right? I know sometimes we overlook the women's divisions, but this is one you can't overlook. Jessica Andrade versus Mackenzie Dern, who you know I like. Very difficult decision here, or prediction. So let's get into it. In the women's strawweight division at UFC 295, you got Jessica Andrade, Brazilian, coming in at 24-12, taking on fellow Brazilian Mackenzie Dern, who comes in at 13-3. Dern 3 inches taller at 5'4". She's 30, Andrade 32. They're both right in their prime. Dern 1 inch reach advantage, no big deal there. They both fight right-handed. Now, where it gets interesting, and it's amazing that Dern is the favorite because Andrade, very active, 6.7 significant strikes per minute to 3.4 for Dern. Andrade also lands just shy of 1 takedown per round. Now, Andrade, 70% takedown defense. Dern, just 40. So that's going to be a problem for Mackenzie Dern. Now, Andrade has struggled lately, which is why Dern is probably the favorite. Losing to Tatiana Suarez, by submission. Yan Xiaonan by KO. Erin Blanchfield by submission. But these are all very good fighters that she struggled against. And she's been moving up and down between strawweight and flyweight. Now, Dern, coming off the big win over Angela Hill by decision. Also lost to Yan Xiaonan by majority decision. So, she took her to a decision, didn't get KO'd. One of the judges, I believe, had it as a draw. That's what led to the majority decision. Remember, Andrade got KO'd by Xiaonan. She also beat Tisha Torres by split decision. So Dern has definitely been up and down, but I still think the sky's the limit for her. It's going to be a very tough fight because Andrade is not an easy out. But I like Mackenzie Dern to win this fight, and I don't know how, because normally we look at the stats. These are two fighters that have been around the game for a while, so their stats are pretty much on point at this point in time. And, Andrade doubles her up in significant strikes per minute. She lands 3 times as many takedowns as Mackenzie Dern, who lands less than 1 on average per fight. But just the will of Mackenzie Dern leads me to believe she's going to find a way to get this victory, right? This is a fight she cannot afford to lose. And therefore, back against the wall, gut instinct tells me she's going to get the job done by unanimous decision. She may not lead in significant strikes, but she'll keep it close. She might lose 1 round big, but win the other 2 close. So when you look at the numbers, you might expect her to lose, but she's going to win this fight here, in my opinion. Women's strawweight division. Yeah, so we like Mackenzie Dern just on sheer will, gut instinct, because it's going to be a back and forth fight. I don't see this fight finishing quickly. I see this being a long decision fight, but great fight, a lot of striking, some good takedowns, some great takedown defense. Everything is going to be a play in this one. And Mackenzie Dern has got to find a way to win this fight. And it'd be a big win on her resume against a big name. And that puts her right into championship contention. So, this is one she's got to get. We'll see what happens. That's the first of the big 3. Then you get Pavlovich versus Aspinall. And I can't stress enough, after 8 rounds of heavyweight work this past weekend, we need a finish here. And, I'm liking Pavlovich. I think he should be fighting John Jones, but he's got to get through Aspinall first. And Aspinall is a big boy. In the heavyweight division at UFC 295, you got Pavlovich versus Aspinall. A big heavyweight showdown. Pavlovich is 18-1, Aspinall 13-3. And believe it or not, Aspinall is a slight favorite, despite Pavlovich being one of the best heavyweight fighters in the division. Now, Aspinall's 2 inches taller at 6'5". He's 30, Pavlovich 31. They're both in their prime. Aspinall's given up 6 inches in reach to Pavlovich. Pavlovich fights left-handed. Aspinall fights right-handed. These guys are both very active, which makes this definitely an exciting fight. 8.7 significant strikes per minute for Pav. 7.7 for Aspinall. I mean, that's ridiculous. Aspinall can also land takedowns, like over 1 per round. So that's going to be important for Pavlovich to defend those, because that's the key to Aspinall's victory. But he defends them 75% of the time. He has yet to lose Oh, actually, I'm sorry. He did lose in the UFC to Alistair Overeem back in 2018, but since then he's won 6 in a row, including uh, 6 straight KOs against Blades, Tuivasa, Derek Lewis, Shamil Abdurakhimov, Maurice Green, and Marcelo Gome. So he's just finishing people. Aspinall's been up and down, but more up. Already beat Marcin Tybura in the last fight by KO. By the way, he's got 100% takedown defense. That shouldn't matter, though. He did lose to Curtis Blades by KO in the first round, 15 seconds in. That's wild. But he also beat Volkov by submission, KO'd Sergey Spivak, and subbed Andrei Arlovsky. And it's amazing to me that Aspinall's the favorite here. To me, Pavlovich is the future heavyweight champion. This is a guy that John Jones does not want to fight. And I know Aspinall's a big dude. He's capable of winning this fight, no question about it. But Sergey Pavlovich, again, is the future. He's got that one blemish on his record against a very good fighter, and that was his first UFC fight. Could very easily be 19-0. But to me, Pavlovich is going to win this fight. He's going to defend the takedowns. He might get taken down once, but he's going to win the other 2 rounds in dominant fashion. So I look for a dominant victory for Pavlovich. 6 KOs in a row could come to an end here, but this guy KOs people. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens to Aspinall, who did get KO'd by Curtis Blades. I look for Pavlovich to win one way or the other with dominating force to move to 19-1 here, heavyweight division, UFC 290. Yeah, so we definitely like Pavlovich to win this fight. I mean, as I said in the prediction, John Jones doesn't want to face this guy. Not because he can't beat him, but he knows he's a real heavyweight with some real power, and he's not going to be easy out. It's going to be a battle where anything can happen, and John Jones wants no part of it. Easier to fight Stipe. More likely to win that fight. But then again, he beat Cyril Gane. Didn't see that coming. I mean, I saw it coming, but he thought that would be a real tough fight. John Jones made it look easy. Now, in the main event, and it was supposed to be John Jones and Stipe, but that fight fell through. But even better, really, we get Jiri Prochazka makes his return against Alex Pereira, who looks good in the light heavyweight division. Let's get into it. In the light heavyweight division, for the light heavyweight division title, you got the return of Jiri Prochazka. He comes in at 29-3, taking on Alex Pereira, who comes in at 8-2. And this is for the vacant belt. Right? Just a quick recap. Jiri Prochazka had the belt. He relinquished it. Jamal Hill got it. He also vacated the belt. And now Pereira and Prochazka are going to fight for the vacant belt. Now, Jiri, believe it or not, 1 inch shorter than Alex Pereira at 6'3". He's 30. Pereira, 36 years old. Jiri has a 1 inch reach advantage, 80-79. Both guys stand right-handed. Jiri, more active, 5.8 significant strikes per minute versus 5.1 for Pereira. But that could be tested here because Pereira is going to continue to stalk Jiri all over the octagon, continue pressing forward, and we'll see if Jiri can keep up the pace with that going on. And neither guy really wants the fight to go to the ground. Both guys are going to want to keep this fight standing. Now, as we dig a little bit deeper, Jiri's 68% takedown defense. He's coming off a win over Glover Teixeira where he submitted him by rear in the 5th round. Led 120-111 in significant strikes, but he gave up 5 takedowns. So we'll Pereira be looking at that. He also beat Dominic Reyes and Volkan Oezdemir. On the other hand, Alex Pereira has a 70% takedown defense. And yes, he's new to the UFC, but he actually has more UFC fights than Jiri. He's got 6 of them now, and he's 5-1. Most recently beating Jan Blachowicz by split decision. He lost to Adesanya and beat Adesanya. So he's 1-1 against him. That's a middleweight. Everything prior to his middleweight, right? Sean Strickland win, Bruno Silva, Andreas Michailidis. So the Jan Blachowicz win is the only thing we got to go off of. And he led 70-52 in significant strikes, gave up 3 takedowns. So both of these guys give up takedowns, but they want to stand and strike. And you see, even for a guy like Jan Blachowicz, the numbers come way down against Pereira. That's going to be the whole question mark of this fight is, can Jiri keep up the pace? When you ask yourself how this fight's going to play out, can Jiri keep up the pace that he's used to or not? And guys like Pereira, just like Sean Strickland too, can cause problems with those numbers, which we heavily rely on. But you also got to look at the fact that it's a different pace from Pereira. He's going to have that lead leg up. He's going to keep you off balance. He's going to continue to press forward, and that's going to create problems. But listen, we got Jiri Prochazka on the do list, even though he's been injured, for a reason. Right? He's up there in the top 10 for a reason, because he's a bad dude. And I don't care about the injury. I don't care about none of that. This guy's coming back for what is rightfully his. He's not going to let Alex Pereira gain the belt here. So I like Jiri Prochazka just on sheer heart. Forget the numbers, right? He's going to find a way to win this thing, and I think he's going to get the finish, to be honest with you, for his 30th professional win. So forget the numbers in this one. Jiri gets the finish. He moves to 30-3. Pereira falls to just 8-3. Here in the light heavyweight division for the strap at UFC 295. Yeah, and that's the thing is, when you look at this fight, Alex Pereira doesn't back up. He's going to have that lead leg forward. He's going to be kicking it straight ahead. And Jiri doesn't stop coming forward. So something is going to happen here. And although Pereira is very patient, Jiri's going to push the pace. He's going to also be putting himself in a tough situation within striking distance of Pereira, which makes the fight interesting. But I still think Jiri ends up getting the finish. I mean, he likes to be up close and personal. And that does play into Pereira's game. And Pereira packs a punch, man. You got to give it to him. He lands a one, you're in deep trouble, as we saw against guys like Sean Strickland and Adesanya. So definitely a big-time fight. Someone is walking out of there with the title. And could Alex Pereira gain both the middleweight at one point and then now the light heavyweight? That's what's on the line for him. And Jiri's just trying to get his belt back so he can face Jamal Hill in what would be a blockbuster fight.
He's gon' fight, wait, he's gon' fight, wait. Hold your breath till the end of the night. Last fight of call, UFC at its height. Yeah. Bringing that thunder with all his might. Saying, step up, wanna fight? Hold up, think twice. Gladiator, assassin, reckless, no abandon. Walk through that cage, he'll leave your ass stranded. Wake up, hey, where you at? Hey, got hit in the head with a baseball bat.